Na mtazamaji, kwa hivi sasa takupeleke moja kwa moja ndani ya majengo ya bunge la Senate ambapo maseneta wanajadili swala zima la wale ndugu zetu ambao ni kama walilaghaiwa baada ya kuweza kununua nyumba na baadaye wakaona kwamba nyumba hizo ni nyumba ambazo sizo. Tuende moja kwa moja Senate tupate kinachopatikana kwa sasa.
To give our ruling or recommendation. So I suggest we go to the document now that you have submitted. Then about the history and what happened to the mutation of these companies, the questions will come in as we progress. But for now, let's focus on what you have submitted. If the committee feels that you have not satisfied the committee with your submission, we will have to decide on that. So I suggest, because this is your submission, affidavits, plus one attached document, plus a map of the estate. If you take us through that, then I will determine on how we proceed thereafter. In the meantime, as I said, we are generous enough. Instead of sending you away to go and do the photocopies, we can do them here. Right? So our clerk with one of your members, as you proceed to take us through this, they can be doing the photocopies. One of my secretariat member, together with a member from your team, they do those copies so that once we get there, we have something to counter-check on. Yes.
Yes, Chair, thank you for that clarification. Maybe just to paint a picture, I think I should apportion blame. I told Jamii Bora directors that the committee is equivalent to a court, a high court. They have the same status as the high court. But then they are the ones who will be in the hot seat. So maybe I could take some blame for that. So I told them that we can put in our response whereby the committee will look at it, and then they can highlight on the responses plus any other thing. So they said, because this is in, if you could be kind enough to allow them maybe to because this is in, maybe the annexures, the Lordship's concern about annexures is very key, and I understand, Chair, you also noted it. But if maybe so as to move forward, if we could, because the directors here, for instance, let me make it clear. We have Miss Ingrid Munro's affidavit, Alhaj Mohammed's affidavit, and Bishop's affidavit in that document. And Jacinta, who was a petitioner, but now she's made an affidavit also to clarify how the state will speak. I told them, you will speak for yourselves. Let us put in the affidavits. We had agreed that we attach all the documentation. I actually have like half of it here. I think what we needed here, but I don't know exactly what is needed. So my suggestion to them was that, okay, because maybe constraints of time and extensions of other duties, the committee may be very focused and tell us, bring this. Maybe way forward, we can take the chair's position. I agree with a little bit of modification. Thank you, Your Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Because he has said maybe we could say this is like what may assist in this case. Because although this sitting has the equivalent of the sitting of a high court, you know, being leaders, and particularly elected leaders, we would want to put a human face in this thing, so that, because the ultimate for us should be to solve the whole thing, get the petitioners their prayers, get them their titles, get them their houses. I mean, the ultimate for us. Really, our joy will be that all the petitioners represented in that petition will finally get their houses and get their titles and walk home happy, because the majority of them are as old as Ingrid herself. So let me give you an example of what would really help in this case. Madam Ingrid has said the bank has agreed to remove the charge on the title. So if only we can have, because this is monumental in this case, if only we can have that commitment by the bank that the title is being freed of any charges, that will be very important to us, I believe. The second thing that will be very important is documentation on the positive discussions that she has mentioned on that are ongoing on the land rates. Because if the land rates will be out and the title has no charge, I believe there will be light in this case, isn't it? So that will be very important for us.
As I stated earlier, I think what we need to do, because it shouldn't be just your word against ours. It's more of document evidence. And all we are looking for here actually is the title deeds for the members who have already completed paying for the houses. As the Senator has said, if the banks have agreed to, remove the charge, I mean, that is breaking news. I mean, that is a big thing. That is one step towards getting the solution. But you see, if we do not have that documentation, if we do not have that, then I believe it's just, we can take it as stories. But this is a house of records, and that's why we're having these microphones here. Whatever we are saying is being recorded. And I think what we need to do moving forward, let's stick to the documents that you have given. You go to your affidavit, take us line by line. If there's any documentation that you are referring to, you give it to the committee. And actually, it was supposed to have been attached to your affidavit. If there is another they can as well take us through that, because I believe they are there. And I've seen there's a certain member here, I don't know what it is here. Somebody Kapuga Kari. They're not here.
They have resigned, all of them. And then the whole body collapsed in their heart and came back to the Lubasa.
So take us through the other one.
Na mtazamaji, ni mazungumzo ambayo bado yanaendelea. Kamati ikijaribu kupata kujua zaidi kitu gani ambacho kilifanyika, ni kina nani ambao walikuwa wanahusika, ili angalau kuhakikisha kwamba haki inasimama na yale ambayo yalifanyika yajitokezi tena, sio tu katika kaunti ya Kajiado, lakini maeneo mengine ya watu ambao wanatumia nafasi kama hizo kuweza kuwalaghai wananchi hela yao. Lakini tukiangalia baadhi ya mengineo ni kwamba wazazi wa shule ya sekondari msingi ya Mugeti huko Moiben, kaunti ya Uasin Gishu, wamefunga shule hiyo kwa muda usiojulikana, wakilalamikia wanao kutofunzwa ila hali muhula wa pili unaendelea. Wazazi hao wanasema kuwa shule hiyo ina mwalimu mmoja tu wa GSS anayewafunza watoto 45. John Wanyama na taarifa hiyo.
Kwa kawaida shughuli za masomo zingekuwa zinaendelea hapa, lakini mambo ni tofauti kabisa katika shule hii ya Mugeti iliyoko kaunti ya Uasin Gishu. Wazazi wenye ghadhabu wamefunga shule hii wakisema hakuna walimu wa sekondari msingi, yani JSS.
Sisi kama wasasi na wakaaji wa Mugeti tumekasirika kwa sababu ni mwalimu mmoja against 14 subjects, na hiyo imetukasirisha. Tunashindwa kwa nini serikali kama hii system haifanyi vizuri siondolewe na turudi kwa 844.
Huko tunakaa sana watoto wetu wasome, watusaidie kwa maisha ya baadaye, lakini sasa hivi tunaona ni kama watoto wetu wako wanafinyiliwa.
Mazingira katika shule hii pia sio ya kuridhisha, madarasa yakiwa katika hali mbovu.
Mwalimu mmoja against 14 subjects, imagine. Ufuji umaanisha kwamba watoto wetu hawajafunzwa tangu.
So tunataka serikali, CS Machogu na President Ruto wakae wakijua watoto wetu ni wenye wameamua kukata generation na kumaliza.
Jengo hili lilipaswa kuwa maabara ya tarakilishi, lakini hali ni kama hii, hakuna chochote hapa. Wazazi sasa wanataka serikali kuu kuangalia upya mtaala wa sasa, wakisema watoto wao wanahangaika mashinani.
Tumefunga mpaka malili yetu na matakwa yetu ifuatiliwe ndio tutakubali kufungua shule.
Hatima ya shule hii ya Muget yenye wanafunzi 350 haijulikani. Wito sasa ni kwa serikali kuingilia kati na kushughulikia swala hili kwa dharura. Wazazi wamefunga shule hii na wameapa katu kwamba hawataifungua hadi pale serikali itakaposikia matakwa yao na kuyatimiza. John Wanyama, runinga ya Citizen, Moiben, Uasin Gishu County.
Mtazamaji, turudi Senate tusikie jinsi ambavyo kamati inajaribu kudadisi zaidi na kupata ukweli kuhusiana na kile ambacho kilijiri kaunti ya Kajiado.
When you say you're a new face, you've just taken up this. I mean, Ms. Monroe said she began with it over 20 years ago. And I believe when you take up a company, you take with all the liabilities. Right? So we cannot start from scratch. I mean, how do you just take land worth millions and you say we have just taken it up? So my issue is we have to be taken step by step. I've perused the affidavit. All the documents that you are referring to, they are not here. You know? And we wouldn't want to discuss this for us to give you an opportunity to go look for them. If you don't find them, you make them. I'm just putting that as plain as that. You know, the committee said we want this, go find it. If you don't find it, do 1, 2, 3. No. The opportunity you were given to appear before this committee, I mean, there was ample time. All these documents you are referring to, from the letter, she resigned. Where is the letter? You don't resign, you know, through mouth. Is it in the folder?
Chair, like that particular one is in the folder. MFI 1 IM.
And that's what I'm saying. We stick to the affidavit. Take us through the affidavit. Then once you read it, you refer that letter to the committee. You refer that document to the committee so that what you have not provided, we will rule on that, on that issue. So just take us through. Go with your affidavit. You don't have to start from the beginning.
Chair, I think the issue can start from number 17. I think that is where he was, and I think it is correct that we stick on the affidavit. This is the submission that we've given to the committee. So instead of talking much, giving so many stories, let's just stick on the affidavit. Otherwise, I think that the chair is right.
Chair.
Yes, Senator.
Chair, I wanted to make a follow-up on what is it, Mr. Mustafa? Mr. Mustafa? Munyanya. Mr. Munyanya has said. Mr. Munyanya, you have said there was a team that was there that was not so credible and has stepped aside for a very credible team to come in. This so very credible team that has come in now includes you, who has been in the project for 20 years, and Ingrid, who's been there from beginning, and with all the changes that have been there and mutations that have been there. you're not very new faces. You're the same old people who've been there and now want to present yourself as new faces. You're not. You're the same old people. 20 years, you've been in the project, okay? And if you say also, because you have said, I just wanted to make a follow-up, you said that we should not insist so much on papers, on documents, so in other words, we should take your word. These people, and the many more who are at Kisaju, have taken your word from 2012 to date. It has been your word that has not ever become one title for one house. So it will be very dangerous for us to continue just taking words, promises, emotional manipulation, that we should be very sympathetic to Ingrid because she is old, yet the members there are also extremely old. Some have passed on. And so here it will be documents. It will be facts. It must be facts. It's either we have documents to base our judgment on, or we don't, and we call it a scam.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I may not have explained it clear enough, but I said the housing project in Kapute, New Town, was taken over from the trust on the 3rd of September 2010 and has come back as a project again to the original owner, Jamii Trust, at the end of September last year. So what we are talking about are all the bad things that happened when we were not in charge. We are saying we are come back and we are trying everything to sort them out. All the things that happened during that time when we were not in charge of this project, I can't answer to, but we are sorting them out. If you would allow us, Mr. Chairman, we can go through what we have said here, which the lawyer said is the way to answer the actual questions we got. I brought in the new situation, which you didn't ask about because you didn't know about, and I'm asking if we could have 1 or 2 weeks more to give you all the documents that you need on that part of it. Up till now, up till when we took over, this project was in charge by the Swedish owners who have been closed and been in receivership for 2.5 years, and the Kenya company who is now also closed. That's why I can't answer everything of what they did during that time. I'm finding out more and more. We're going through their files. We're trying to sort out one thing after another, but we are not quite ready. So please advise us on how to say that to you in the right way. We are not trying to offend you or misuse situation or so, but please understand that Jamii Trust is an organization that exists all over the country. We're running very many projects. We're helping the poor to get out of poverty. The project, one project, has just come back to us. So please advise us what to do. And if we could, Your Honor, ask you kindly to give us 1 or 2 weeks, preferably 2 weeks, to give you all the documents, and we have time to ask for that. For instance, I tried to reach the Norwegian company, Strømme Foundation, who has also taken over some of the projects. And I managed to get hold of the lady who used to be in charge 2 days ago. She said it's another one who is in charge of that project now. I didn't get him that evening, and yesterday was the Norwegian National Day, and it was impossible to get them. Could you please give me a few days to talk to the Norwegians and get them to give us all the details? As one example only. Thank you.
Ms. Monroe, you're very convincing, and I'm inclined to believe exactly what you're saying. But this issue has been there for so many years, so many. And as I promised the residents of Jamii Bora, I want to promise you too, that this committee is so ready and willing to have this matter brought to a close. Whatever it takes, even trying to help you talk to the government of Kajiado to lower the rates or scrap them or waiver them, this committee is willing to do all that. But for us to get there, we need to understand everything. Because you say there are some people who took, who are they? You know, those people who for so many years, they were with the company, we don't know who they are, yet they also came to you and gave it back to you. I think instead of just going for the history, instead of going who owned this, who owned that, because the moment we get in there, if it takes us to go to Sweden, we will go as a committee. If it takes us to summon the Scandinavians, we will do that. Instead of just going round that much, all these people want is their title deeds. So actually the simplest question that even if, you know, when I started the meeting, I said, maybe you have the titles. And if you had them, this meeting could have just ended. All we want are the titles. So we wanted to hear from you what you're doing to give them the title. How because you do not have the document. Even that letter of the resignation, your council is saying, it's not a letter. It's not a letter of resignation. It's just a confirmation from you, yes, I resigned. But there's no letter of resignation. If we go back, I'm telling you, we will go back from the first company. We want to see the CR12 of that company. We go to the next company, the CR12, who are the members, where are they? Are they still there? We bring them here up until where we are today. So since that one might take some time, I want us to go direct to the point of what you're doing as the director. And don't say you're new. You own that land. I mean, now you took the liabilities and you took all the profits. What exactly you're doing so that we give the petitioners their title deeds.